Hey gang, Frazer Smith here. Welcome to the Frazer Smith Show. It's our very first show here on the Laugh Factory website channel. And I want to thank Laugh Factory owner Jamie Masada, my old friend, for giving me the show. He called me up the other day and he's like, Frazer, I got to tell you, we're going to have you on the podcast, buddy. You're going to do the joke and have the comics. I hear about the word of mouth. You are a great host, buddy. You are between a rock and a fireplace. I tell you, we're going to get it going. Actually, I don't know what the heck he was saying, but I want to thank him. I think it came from the heart, so thank you, Jamie. And it is our first show. We've got some really great guests for you. You know, I saw the movie Martian the other day with Matt Damon. It's great. He's stranded. He's an astronaut. He gets stranded on Mars. Boy, he'll do anything to get the fuck away from Ben Affleck, won't he? Yeah, come on. Bill Cosby's got a new nightclub. Yeah, it's called Roofie Tuesdays. All the drinks taste kind of funny, and every night is ladies' night. Hillary Clinton, of course, out on the campaign trail. She's looking good in those pantsuits, right? Those are pretty sexy. I think they come from the Calvin Klein Unbangable collection. And Donald Trump's out on the campaign trail, too. He's trying to suck up the Hispanic people after he insulted them. He's like, this thing on top of my head, that's a chupacabra. If you don't know what that is, just push your SAP button, guys. And I'm a big football fan, of course, but I'm into fantasy football because I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Yeah, we had a rough game last night. Bad call at the end of the game. That sucked. Even the bobblehead dolls were like, they weren't having it. I'm also a Raider fan. I don't know how that works out, but the Raiders are doing better this year. Last year they had a rough year, though. The pirate on the side of their helmet there, he had a patch over both eyes. Okay, that's my monologue. Thanks for joining us here in the new Frazer Smith Show, and we're coming back with Danish and O'Neal, two of the funniest comics in the world, next on the Frazer Smith Show. Here they are, Danish and O'Neal.
Hey, thanks for inviting us to this janitor closet.
Well, this is how we roll here at the world-famous Laugh Factory. Guys, it's good to see you.
It's great to see you, Frazer.
And I know you got some big projects going on.
Yes, we do.
We're hustling, Frazer. A lot of hustle and flow. We're like Terrence Howard right now.
We can't discuss them currently.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast to say that, guys.
We have an animated show that we're putting together right now with a friend of ours.
We can't even say who that is.
Yeah,
but I think I know.
Secret, yeah.
It's a big name in the business.
And we're going to pitch that probably early 2016. We're thinking because this town shuts down about mid-November.
We better get that in before Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah. You have to have everything in by Thanksgiving because for some reason people like to take 8 weeks for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they do in this town. It shuts right down till February, basically. Well,
it's great though for driving around.
Yeah,
no traffic anywhere.
That's true. That's the good point about it. Well, I hope you guys have great success with that.
Thank you.
And we're here at the world famous Laugh Factory, the house that Kramer built.
I remember seeing you.
You were behind that.
I was the host. I wasn't behind that.
I heard that you told him. You go, hey, you know what always gets people to shut up?
I did tell him that. I said, here's some jokes that might work for you.
Here's some jokes that I've been doing, and they seem to do well for me.
Wasn't it revenge because you were up for the role of Kramer on Seinfeld, and it was kind of then he was into your world.
It was payback. I got him. Okay. I think I got him.
You were also up for the role in UHF, right? The Weird Al movie.
Stanley Spadowski.
I beat him out on every part, and he was very upset. So, or he actually beat me out, but I got him back. I thought.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you may have.
You were hosting that night?
I was hosting that night, and it was just surreal is what it was like. We had started the show. I was the host. I brought up Sully McCullough, who's another friend of ours who's a comic, and he did great. And then I brought up Johnny Sanchez, and he did great. And then brought up Kramer, and he gets into this beef with these guys in the balcony. I think they were just having a birthday party is what was going on there.
Apparently he wasn't into celebrating.
Is he a Jehovah's Witness? Is he like opposed to
Kramer doesn't like holidays. Yeah.
Okay.
And he kind of morphed into Mel Gibson there.
Maybe he's doing a Mel Gibson impression.
It could have been. But I think it was a career boost for him, and I think I will take credit.
You had a lot of people saw and heard you on that video.
Well, that was the part that was weird to me because, I had to come up afterwards, and I was standing in the back of the club, and everyone was it was just crazy. And somebody goes, "You got to go back up there."
You're like,
I'm like, "What?"
And you're like, "Stage time,
yeah,
might as well."
Okay. So I start going up there, and I see Jim Gaffigan, who's got to be the whitest guy on the planet and one of the best comedians, right, in the world.
He's from my neck of the woods, too. He grew up a town over from me.
The guy is awesome. But he's sitting there, and I go, Jim, I'm bringing you up. He goes, oh, no, you're not. So I had to go up there. So I didn't know what to say. I just said, sorry about that, folks. That's all I could think of. And
But you were wearing a white boxing robe with the hood up that
well,
night, right?
that was probably not the best choice of attire. But anyway, that my little part where I go, sorry about that, folks, wound up on the end of the clip. So everyone was watching this clip worldwide, and they see the Laugh Factory logo in the background. And so then I start getting all these phone calls from back east. It's like 5 in the morning, and I'm getting all these. And who is calling me nonstop? It was all my friends back east. They'd already seen the thing on the news. Frazer, we saw you, man. You were on the thing. I always wanted internet exposure, but not like that.
You're lucky you had no outstanding warrants. That could have really blown your cover.
Yeah, well, Frazer Smith is in Los Angeles. We got to go get him.
Yeah,
get the task force together.
There he is. He's on stage. Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Is that your craziest hosting gig, or has there been, you'd think?
You know what? Unfortunately, it probably isn't. Yeah, I've had even weirder stuff happen. I remember one time.
What trumps that?
Well, I remember I had to host a New Year's show at a bar in Lancaster, and it was first of all that puts it in Weirdsville.
Yeah.
And so I'm up there, and it was New Year's Eve, and they were watching all the bowl games. So it's like a sports bar. So then they start the comedy show, and they won't turn off the games. I go, wait a minute, guys. First of all, and then I'm standing. They had no stage. I'm standing on a milk crate.
We've done milk crate shows
before.
Those, right?
Yeah. Don't look to your left. You could fall off the cliff.
If you could hear a cracking in it halfway through your set, you're like, I hope I don't fall through the bottom of it.
Finish these jokes quickly, but and so everybody's watching the games, and everyone's turning around going, "Shut up!"
You should have just started commentating. Did a little Pat
little color commentary.
Of that, but that was a pretty weird gig too.
Oh,
everyone got pissed, and then they wanted to kill us, and we were like, hey, we're just trying to do a show here, guys.
There's nothing worse than the comedy show that's been unannounced in a restaurant or bar.
Yeah, that's bad. It's always bad.
Absolute worst.
It's a bad surprise.
Diners don't want to. That's why you have to come to a real comedy club like the Laugh Factory.
You know what's a good surprise is when you're eating out and a stripper just starts performing.
So you don't mind that
that's all right.
so much. Yeah. That's usually okay. Yeah,
it depends what the stripper looks like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let's be honest about it. All right, let's go into a couple of topics. First of all, the Lions game last night, guys. I don't want to date this because, but what'd you think of that call? That was a bad call.
But the batting it out of the end zone.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I did not see it. What happened?
The guy hit it out of the end zone. The Lions were about to score, right?
They're about to score. It's like 30 seconds left. And Megatron, Calvin Johnson, scores a touchdown. But just as he is crossing the plane, the guy knocks the ball out. All right, so then...
Cam Chancellor.
Then Cam Chancellor comes at the back of the end zone and pushes the ball out of bounds. Or Cam knocked the ball out.
Yeah, he batted it out.
And his teammate batted it out.
Which you can do accidentally. On purpose, you cannot
Can't do it on purpose. Should have been a call. Would have been Lions ball on the 5-inch line. Instead, game over.
Seattle ball on the 20. But it's always bad when the refs... It's so annoying when the refs mess up, but then the next day they say... You would rather them say, we made the right call than to say, it was our fault.
Yeah,
we messed up.
It doesn't matter then. No, it's over.
That's
It's
what
like
I'm saying.
you can't go.
That's why I'm still mad. Right?
The league announced it today.
Yeah, that it was a bad call.
But it's like, oh, thanks a lot, guys. It does nothing.
It does nothing. Wow. So
Bunch
I was upset.
Dickheads.
Like the Lions need any more problems, right? Yeah, I am from Detroit, and that is the murder capital.
At you, Eminem, and Kid Rock, you guys form the triumvirate of Detroit power.
You guys all made it out alive, Fraze.
Somehow. I was from 9 Mile, though, and I was like a block away from stardom.
You were away from Marshall. You and Marshall Mack
go
to the same high school?
Yeah, we went to the same
Did you guys ride the same school bus?
Oh, yeah, man. We were on the bus writing stuff.
Were you the bus driver?
Yeah, I was a driver. Yeah.
Fraze, what happened to Kid Rock? He's from that area. Why is all of a sudden he's a country singer? He's a Southerner.
I don't know how that happened. You eat at Waffle House a couple of times and you're Southern, I guess is how it goes.
It must have been.
You grew up on the south side of Detroit.
Yeah.
So he's Southern.
That is Southern.
Yeah, well, that's true. He was from the
Hey, he's on the south side of Canada.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
he's a Southern Canadian.
We are close to Canada. That is the South for Canada.
Yeah, that's that's like the hub for Michigan people to go to strip clubs.
Oh,
right
yeah,
through
exactly.
Detroit and right over the border.
And when you're 18, you go there to drink.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Trump wants to build a wall between Michigan and Canada.
He just wants people to. It's exercise. He wants people to climb.
To have to climb.
The U.S. people to lose
We're
weight.
getting fatter. So Canada also has that extra potent beer. The first time I ever had like 9% beer was in Canada.
Yeah, very strong beer and a low exchange rate.
So
I opened for Russ Peters up there in all these big cities in Canada, and I came back with 12 cents, even though he paid me great because of the exchange rate.
That's why no athletes want to play for the
What is
Raptors.
that? You mean the amount of money you get per titty? Is that like?
That's what you get, yeah.
Is that what you were blowing on?
Yeah. Well, when you're making it rain, it's all in your favor if you're from America.
That's why it's kind of bad that they have professional teams, is no one wants to play because you're getting less.
Well, I think and another thing people always talk about, but it's true, is the Canadian League has two teams with the same name.
The Canadian
really?
football?
Yeah. They've got the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Ottawa Roughriders. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
There's only like 8 teams in the league.
That seems good, though, because then if your Rough Riders suck, you're like, no, I'm a Rough Riders fan.
Yeah.
From the other one. You said you still have the same
flip-flops.
gear.
Yeah.
You hope one of them is doing well?
Yeah.
But the announcer, it's tough for the announcer if he's got that game. It's like Rough Riders are running the ball back. He's tackled by a Rough Rider. You know.
Do they have the same mascot too?
I don't know.
Now, what is the Rough Rider? Just like a
DMX.
I'm going to have to Google it. Yeah.
DMX is the original
on a
Rough Rider.
four-wheeler doing a wheelie up and down.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I got to look at that. I don't really know. I went to the Grey Cup one time, though.
Oh, up there?
Yeah. It was 140 below.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Great day for football.
the sun was out.
Well, the ball froze in midair.
How many of your fingers fell? Are these real fingers?
These are not. These are clip-ons. I have clip-on fingers. All right, moving on in sports. I know you guys are big UFC fans.
Yes, absolutely.
You guys love the UFC. And how does it look right now? The last weekend's UFC 192 was Gustafsson and
Poor Gustafsson,
Cormier.
yeah.
Gustafsson, he looked pretty good against John Jones.
Just can't catch a break.
I love him because I think he won that Jones fight for
I
the
do
title.
too, the first one, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's going back. He gets knocked out by Anthony Johnson, which sets him back, and then he gets a title shot, and then Cormier he gets a split decision. I mean, I think Cormier won, but.
It was a close fight. What did you guys think?
It's tough, man. I think if I were Gustafsson, I'd rather just be knocked out or have a decisive win than these split decisions.
Yeah, that's
You're
tough.
that close.
You put everything on the line, and then it's the old
just,
kissing your sister thing. It really.
He's a good kid too.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
Young, talented,
Yeah.
just fuck.
Cormier said he could be a model. Go back to Sweden and.
Is that
relax. Yeah,
Could be an IKEA model.
he could. Yeah.
A guy that big, wasn't sitting on that crappy furniture though.
No, but yeah, that's true. Now, my question is, what about Conor McGregor?
All
Where's
hype.
this guy?
in
Is
my
he for
opinion.
real? Do you think he's hype?
No,
Paper
think so?
champion. Yeah.
Chad Mendez whipped him for the first 2 rounds, and the guy only took the fight on 2-week notice. Conor McGregor had a whole training camp, and he was just grinding him out on the ground. And the only reason that he lost is because he got winded.
The other guy ran out of gas.
Yeah. Chad Mendez
ran out of gas.
You can't train for 2 weeks and expect to go 5 rounds.
No, this guy is a pretty good talker, though.
That's the thing.
He's got the Muhammad Ali thing.
These guys watch a little pro wrestling and they figure it out. That it sells.
Now, speaking of pro wrestling, CM Punk.
Just hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, man, but he's moving from professional wrestling into the UFC. Didn't work too well for Brock Lesnar.
It did for a short time.
For a short time, it did, yeah. What did he win? A couple of fights?
He won. He got the belt, but it was at a time when the heavyweight division was no pun intended.
And he beat
thin.
he beat Mir, and the only reason Mir anybody talks about is because he used to be a champion, but he hasn't showed any championship skill level since like 2006.
So how do you think Punk does?
Problem with Punk is at least Lesnar was elite in one. He was an elite college wrestler,
Wrestler, right?
Where
yeah.
CM Punk was an elite professional wrestler. So there's a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Rumors are that it's not real, so.
And he's older. He's like 36.
It's-
He's not young.
I think in 10 years ago, a guy in his mid-30s could walk into the UFC and actually win some fights. But I think now people are training younger, and they're the full package. People can wrestle. They have jiu-jitsu. They have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I just don't think you can walk in.
No, they're
This
dialed
at
in
that
now.
age, yeah.
I give him credit. He said, like, I've always wanted to do this, and I want, win or lose, I want to see what
good for
happens.
him,
yeah,
man.
so it's like if
Good
you
for
can do
him.
it and they make it, and he's a name, and it's both parties benefit, then why not?
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
The days of the Randy Couture, like coming in his mid-30s and like cleaning up and getting a title, I think are all long gone.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Now you really got to be prepared, and you got to be.
There was like a
trained.
19-year-old kid on that last UFC card who was like a beast. the kid just mowed through this guy, and then he's doing backflips and gymnastics routines.
I saw that guy.
Afterwards.
What was he trying to prove?
They said his prom limo was waiting outside. He hopped in and went back to high school.
Well, I see what you're saying. They're highly trained. I like the early days of the UFC where people were fighting in street clothes,
beer guts. And
one guy,
just like,
the black guy had one boxing glove.
Yeah,
with one hand free.
Another guy had a gi on while he was fighting.
Yeah,
a guy with wrestling shoes.
Wow, I love the guy with the
You could
one
wear
boxing
jean
glove.
shorts.
Why did he have the one? Was the one boxing glove? Was that hand was so dangerous?
Because he didn't
I
want
don't
to
know
break
what-
his hand.
Is that
That's
what it
the
was?
truth. Yeah. He didn't want to break his hand because that was his power hand.
So what was the other one? Just like a.
Well, the other hand was like jab.
I'm afraid to ask. Yeah, but you know
I
what?
think it was part of it was the gimmick of like.
How do
hey.
you get somebody in a hold when you've got a glove on?
Well, he wasn't. I don't think he had any skill level beyond throwing some punches.
I go to bars just in case a fight breaks out with just one boxing glove on.
Yeah, you might have to wear that one
I
glove.
leave mine in the car and say, "Hey guys, give me a couple minutes. I gotta wrap my hands."
I got the other one in the car. I'll be right back.
You could have used those at the Grey Cup. You could have used two.
Yeah, I could have used
for
two of
warmth.
those, that's for sure. But you know, the early days were crazy, and I remember Hoist Gracie. I got to meet him. He was so cool. But I thought, wow, man, that's a whole different era now.
Yes, yeah.
How would he do now?
The sport's evolving, like even now, so it's just constantly evolving. He would not.
Well, he came back. We were at the fight at the Staples Center at UFC where Hoist Gracie fought Matt Hughes, and Gracie got destroyed so bad that Matt Hughes had him in a move and was going to break his arm. But
Wow.
He let it go.
He admired him
'Cause
too
he admired
much.
him.
Yeah, so he goes, "I'll just choke him out."
No, he got on top and just started.
Or he just
conning
pounded him.
his head.
Yeah.
Hoist Gracie's a cool guy, though. I took a photo with him, and he put me in a submission hold. I was like, dude, come on. And I mean,
Is that part of the photo op?
Yeah. I go, wait a minute.
Does that cost extra?
I don't know, but it felt good. That's the weird
Whoa!
part. I don't know how that happened.
Where was the hole, Fraser?
I can't tell you. I thought he was a cool guy, though.
Did he get you in a rear naked nutsack joke?
No, that was later.
The naked part was there. Hey, Fraser, you take off your pants and then we grapple.
I miss the old days, though, in the UFC.
Yeah, I think there was an element of like you had a Tank Abbott who his only fighting credentials were that he fought guys outside of bars in Huntington Beach.
And I loved
That was it.
I loved Tank
That's pretty
Abbott.
cool.
I think everything is in the Wild West phase is cool. Like you were around for the Wild West of the rock and roll days, right? Where it was much different and you could make a living. Now it's so hard in music.
Yeah, you're right. It was a different time. And, I started out in L.A. I started in Detroit in radio, but when I came to L.A., I started on K-Rock. And K-Rock now is very successful and it's booming. Back then, it was kind of like the underground, it was like a pirate radio station.
Could you play whatever you wanted?
You play whatever you wanted.
And now it's definitely not.
Yeah,
the
you
case.
can't do that. You can't do
But
that.
then also, bands also did crazy stuff probably to get their stuff played.
Well, yeah, they did. I remember being at K-Rock, and it was a little two-story building in Pasadena. And
Is it still there?
No. Well, it is in some other form. I don't know what it is
Someone's
now.
apartment.
California
Probably-
Pizza Kitchen?
Yeah, it could be a pizza kitchen. So I'm there, and David, this guy would climb up the fire escape and climbing through a window, and he'd kick in the door to my studio while I'm on the air, and he'd go, "Hey man, you got to play our test pressing, bro. Come on, dude." And it was David Lee Roth. And
How old was he?
God, I don't know how old he was at that time, but I didn't know him. Nobody knew him. I go, "Hey, get out of here! This is professional broadcasting, bro. You can't come in here." And I kept telling him to leave, and he kept coming back every week. So finally,
Did that window not have a lock, Fraser?
Well,
was there glass?
Fraser,
look, you have to go with it for the story.
You should have put some barbed wire up or
I
something.
should. I didn't think.
He had one boxing
A board
glove
with
on.
some
You
nails.
couldn't
Yeah, what is
step
it?
to him.
Yeah. So finally, just to get him off my back, I go, "All right, bro, I'll play it." And so I played this one. So I played "Ain't Talking About Love."
Oh.
And off their first album, and it went through the roof. Back then, you could tell if something was good if the phones lit up. So the phones lit up like crazy, and so I started playing it every week.
Was that their first radio play?
I think it might have been.
So you should put that on your IMDb page.
I have it on my bio.
Right under
That's
Kramer.
crazy. And now,
I work with all the biggies.
can you imagine that now? Like, you can't even walk into the lobby. They'll be like, "What are you here
No,
for?" They're
you
like,
can't.
"Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, it's a whole different thing
Yeah.
now, man. You can't do that.
What do you see? You've seen him probably recently because you used to come to the Comedy Store, David Lee
David
Roth.
Lee Roth's one of the coolest guys ever.
You guys talk about that?
Well, yeah.
Must be a bizarre thing.
Everybody talks about those old days because they were more fun. And a couple other bands that made it big. I used to see him around town. I'd be at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and they'd come up and give me their cassettes, because back then it was cassettes. Dude, can you play this, bro? It's our cassette. And I'd take them home and throw them in a drawer. Not to be rude to them, but I was getting so many of them, I didn't know what to do. You can't listen to all of them. I listened to one day, and I go, hey, that's pretty good, man.
Did you call the guy up? You're like, hey, it's been 30 years, but I just going through some old tapes. Maybe we could put something together with you now. The guy's like,
it was
I'm a teacher.
It was Cab Calloway, and it was it turns out it was Motley Crue, and they were great. Wow. And then I started playing Livewire, is what I was playing.
Can you sell those tapes on eBay?
Probably could.
Yeah,
probably could now.
Did you still have them?
No. They're long. I lost them. But back in those days, you still had restrictions, but you could cheat a little. You could play something if you liked it.
Yeah.
And that gave you a chance to maybe break a band. You really can't do that now.
No, yeah, it's a totally different scene. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you break anymore.
It was a wild and crazy scene back then.
Are you ever sitting around your place now and David Lee Roth just climbs in your window just for old time's sake to come and hang out?
No, but I got to talk
hey, man, I'm here with Hoyce Gracie. We're going to choke you out.
We're going to choke you out now. No, but
because he's a martial artist too, David Lee Roth.
Is, yeah.
Is
he? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know he likes the kicks.
He does that.
Yeah.
What's he study?
I don't know what his
Wabadue Fu.
I don't know what his discipline is, but he does have the kicks down.
He must have a diamond, because he's Diamond Dave, a diamond gi. He must have hurt his opponents when he grapples.
I think that could be his next move. Although I'll tell you one thing, I was at a boxing match one time, and David Lee Roth was there. He was kind of managing a boxer. And
this is when he went through like that phase where he was like an EMT.
No, this is before then. Before then, and they called him up in the ring. They go, look who's ringside. It's David Lee Roth. And he gets up in the ring, and he just took over the whole place. It was unbelievable. No wonder he's such a good front man. He just started, he's just working the crowd in this boxing thing. And
he's doing karate kicks.
Yeah, he's doing, swords with him.
His fighter must have loved that. But like, hey,
the fighters in the thing going, come on, we got to start this.
This is my big day here.
Yeah, it's weird when you get upstaged by your manager.
Don't invite David Lee Roth to a wedding, I guess. He would just...
oh, man, he'd take right over and steal the girl.
Fuck your lady.
Yeah, you'd be done.
Karate kick you.
Karate kick the cake, then take your lady.
Do an axe kick to cut it in half.
Yeah, I wish those days were still sort of there, because it's hard to break in as a band now.
Yeah,
there are some cool indie labels that are still kind of keeping a little bit of that dream alive. Like is it Stone's Throw? I don't know if it's like they have like a lot of indie artists that they try to break, but for the most part, everyone's just in it for the money.
But also the advantage though of today, I guess, is bands that probably never would have broken back then. Can get a niche crowd now and make a living touring.
Well, there's a different way to break now. You're right. And but we just had because you guys do my radio show on KLOS with me.
That is true.
Every week, 95.5 KLOS guys.
We've been on hiatus for a little bit. We've been busy
writing these alleged scripts. But we had Andrew Dice Clay brought his sons by the other day, and they have a band that I just think is great. They just recently changed their name. It was L.A. Rocks. I'm not sure what they're called right now.
Something Rebel, I think.
Yeah. Still Rebel.
There you go.
Okay.
And they are an amazing band. I mean, they're as good as anybody I've seen in years. And I think a lot of people agree. All the Guns N' Roses guys are going out to the clubs and watching them.
Oh, wow.
And rooting for them. And I think they're going to bust out big. They just did the Late Late Show with Billy Gardell hosting, and they were tremendous. And,
yeah. Well, Frazer, we'd love to give you our demo after this to see if maybe...
You guys have a demo?
Yeah, we're doing a musical act now.
That's why we're here. We climbed in the window. We're not even the book yet.
Okay, all right.
Danish and O'Neal.
Well, I'll give it a spin and we'll see, man. If you know Hoyce Gracie, talk to him. He is a record rep now. I'll take a listen to it, sure.
I think we're the last two guys that you want to do music with. We have no idea.
But your stand-up comedy is great, and I love you guys. Got to go see these guys. They are two of the funniest guys. You've been touring out there.
We make the tour over to the Comedy Store and then
to our apartment and back,
and then we tour back to the Comedy Store.
We've had a couple of buddies have brought us out. We're not like, because we're writing always, and it's tough for us to kind of get out a lot.
And we've been filming something too that hopefully will hit the small screen.
Yeah,
the small screen, the mobile device.
Yeah, mobile device. Yeah, well, Why
So,
not?
yeah.
We'll take anything.
And hopefully we'll be at the Laugh Factory soon.
Well, I think after this interview, that's not going to happen. No, I'm sure you will. I've been telling Jamie, the owner, about you guys. I go, these guys are amazing. He brought you in for a meeting, so maybe something will happen.
Frazer, I go to the high holiday services at
Oh,
the
do you?
lab.
Here at the Laugh
This is
Factory?
my temple.
Wow, you are in trouble.
This guy's he wants to perform in his house of worship.
No,
Exactly.
I hear that it's really cool, and
No,
I think it's great that Jamie does that.
It's a nice thing. It's an interesting crowd, I think, but it's nice.
How's the rabbi? Is he funny?
He's
Is that the requirement?
it's funny.
Yeah,
it's
you
funny.
got-
New material?
It's funny you
He
asked
gave
that.
him a light halfway into the service.
No, he's not. I don't think he's funny. And Sandy Danto, a Comedy Store comic, funny guy, he was there as well this year.
Right.
And we both talked. We didn't sit together. He was with his wife. I was just off by myself, hitting on random single women.
Yeah.
But we talked after how like the people in the crowd laugh at like they even hinted like the bare hint like of a joke. Like they start dying laughing. Or like these people need to be brought to a
Wow.
comedy show.
We need them for my monologue.
because they're dying laughing at this guy who's like not really even trying to make jokes.
Wow.
Well, wait, Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
You also do a
That's another
performance.
thing that I think is cool that Jamie does, the owner of the Laugh Factory, and has for a long time, is he feeds homeless people on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I have done it for a long time. Because
And there's also a comedy show.
Well, yeah, that too. And
During the
it-
turkey.
It's awesome, man. It's a wild, they're trying to eat and we're doing comedy.
You scoop the food on them and you hold up the spoon as a mic.
Do you recognize me from mashed potatoes? I was the guy.
Hey, how's the stuffing?
Yeah, I got the stuffing elbow though. From
I'll give you some stuffing,
hey,
lady.
folks, lady. But it's fun, man.
We would be great on that, doing because we do a lot of crowd work and riffing off
Oh,
the
they
crowd.
would love you, man.
So it'd be
would
and a
either-
lot of dirty humor.
They
So
would
it's
either
always
love
good when you're
us
eating.
or take a knife out of the turkey and kill us.
They might want to try that. Yeah, I remember
dodge a
there was one
drumstick.
guy in the audience not too long ago when I was doing the Thanksgiving thing, and he was a homeless guy, and he just looked, he looked bad. He just was a wreck, this poor guy. And so he looks at me and he goes, "Frazer Smith?" He goes, "What happened to you?" Oh man! Wow.
You say, hey, glad you
This
could
is
make
like,
it.
Nice talking to you. I'll meet you at your box.
Frazer Smith, what happened to you?
This guy. But it is a good thing Jamie does, and it's really fun to do that every year. We have
Yeah.
a good time. Yeah.
We gave Jamie a free plug. He needs to give Danish and O'Neal some stage time for
Well,
that.
that's
Maybe
what
we
we're
can get a spot on the Thanksgiving show.
Hey, we want to try to entertain these people, guys. We're not trying to make their life even worse.
We do a bit
I'm
where we
just
pour
kidding.
gravy down our pants.
See, that's a good bit.
Great.
That's a good Thanksgiving bit.
Physical comedians.
You guys are. Well, your stand-up is great, and you got to
Thank
go
you.
see Danish and O'Neal. They're really, really funny. Anything else coming up that we can talk about?
Follow us on Twitter at Danish and O'Neal. We have a podcast, also Danish and O'Neal.
Wow.
And hopefully a new series coming out. Oddly enough, called Danish and O'Neal.
Do you see a trend, Frazer?
I'm seeing a trend. Yeah, and
Hopefully our show. Hopefully we get
which
a
we
show
can't
going
talk
here.
about. So
Yeah.
thanks for bringing that up on the podcast.
It's not called Danish and O'Neal.
Oh, okay.
Oddly enough,
The
it's
one thing that wasn't called Danish and O'Neal. Well, guys, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to have our friend Eleanor on next. I'm sure
Yes.
she's going to
Oh,
trash
boy.
you. Easy rider.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. She's a rough rider.
That's
now.
right.
Yeah, she is. She's the third Rough Rider.
It's definitely a rough ride.
Wow.
Hey,
Whoa,
hey, watch it.
She's going to get her chance to rebuttal the guys coming up next on the Frazer Smith Show. We thank you for joining us with Danish and O'Neal. Guys, great job.
Thank you for having us,
All
Frazer.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for
Thank
coming
you,
by,
everybody.
guys. Nice talking to you. I'm Rick Dees. Good night. All right, guys, we're back on the Frazer Smith Show. It's my very first show here at the world-famous Laugh Factory website channel. And my next guest is with us, the incredible, exotic Eleanor. There she is, Eleanor Kerrigan. Yeah,
Exotic.
you are pretty exotic.
I love that you call me exotic. I
Yeah.
think that's funny.
That's how I see you. She's an actress. She's a comedian, very funny comedian. She works with the great Andrew Dice Clay all around the country. She's a wrestler, a professional wrestler,
That
right?
I was.
You were. She was Easy
I guess
Rider.
if you're once a wrestler, always a wrestler.
You're always a wrestler.
There you go. It's like a Marine.
Yeah.
I like it.
You still
Okay.
know all the
I'll
holds,
take it.
right?
Yeah.
Can you put me in a hold later?
What would you like?
Well, let me
Look how
think.
excited I got. What would you like? Where can I put you?
I have some
Let me
handcuffs.
pin you.
Yeah, I would go for that actually. That could be fun. Did you have fun when you were wrestling? It
Oh,
must have been
man,
fun.
It was fun, but it was like, one of those things, and I think I've told you before, like, because I was such a tomboy growing up, that it was hard to break to my mom that I was going to take the job
Right.
as a wrestler. Like I remember her being so upset when I called at first, like upset anytime I would like do anything boy-y, you know.
Yeah.
I was always playing football or baseball or something. So when I called her to tell her I got the wrestling job, I said that. I said, "Hey, Mom, you're going to be so excited. I go, don't be mad, but I'm excited about it. I'm taking this job. It's a wrestling job." And she was like, "Oh, that's terrific." And I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, that's so good."
Was she a fan of wrestling?
No, that's why I was confused. But like cell phones were kind of, you know, newish, I guess. You know, like I was on the freeway and I said, "You know what, I'm going to call you." Because she kept saying they have great women characters on that show. And I'm going, "What are you talking about? It's a wrestling show." And I go, "Ma, let me call you back when I get home." So, you know, it took me like 10, 15 minutes to get home. And when I got home, I called from the landline. And my sister Karen answered. And she was like, "Yo, you're going to be on West Wing? That's awesome." And I'm like, "What?" And she was like, she told everybody. She was outside telling people that I was going to be on West Wing.
Oh, that's so funny.
And she goes, "If you say West Wing and wrestling in a sentence fast, it sounds the same." And so I had to call the whole family and explain that I was not going to be with Martin Sheen.
No.
I was going to have a woman with a mullet in a sleeper hole. So,
Yeah, but I'd rather see that.
yeah, me too. I was having
Yeah.
a blast.
Yeah, that's
I got beat up a lot. You know.
Did you get hurt doing that?
Yeah, I had a hairline fracture in my collarbone.
Wow.
I split my head on some pyro, like doing a bump up on the
Now,
top of the ramp.
Was that? It's just because you're flying around in the ring, right?
Yeah, and this specific time when I hit my head, there was two ladies that I really trusted. Well, a few of them, but the two ladies that are my favorite to work with, I was like letting them throw me everywhere, and I would really push myself, and I would fly in the air. You know, I'm a lot skinnier than the girls on the show were kind of buff,
Right.
and then I'd be like this. You know, when they push me, I'd throw myself, and it would look like they were like Hercules, you know?
Yeah.
And they loved that because I could jump around so much. And
Yeah.
I really did this far back bump, if you will. And when I went down, I landed properly, but there was a tiny piece of pyro, like a little, you know, they have the little whoosh, and
Yeah.
it shoots out. And it was right here. And I was like, "Oh," and I just kept wrestling. And there was so, you know, when you cut your head, so much blood comes out because of all the pressure.
Yeah.
This whole side of my head was completely
Wow.
red. And no one noticed. It just looked like I was sweating, kind of. It just got matted, like to my
Wow.
head. And I did the whole match and everything, and they were like, "Oh my God, your whole head is bloody."
Wow.
So they had to like clean me up, but thank God it was only a small cut. It wasn't like
It just looked.
I didn't
worse.
even need
Yeah.
a stitch. It's just so much blood comes out.
Wow, that's wild though. Yeah, I'm not surprised that wrestlers get hurt.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
they're-
and I
they're-
broke my pinky on
Right.
a chair. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
somebody hit you with a chair.
She, the one of the ladies that I trust. She
These
was
ladies, I don't think you should trust them.
yeah, maybe I'm not. I have bad trust issues
Yeah, you
now.
do.
But she was like, "Don't worry, Easy." Because my name was
Easy
Easy Rider.
I want to find out how
Yes.
you got that name later
I could show
in the
you.
interview. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was
okay.
something different.
Or we could do it now.
I don't know, Fraser.
Yeah.
I got excited.
So Easy Rider, me too.
Yeah.
So what they threw? You?
There was a group. It was a gang. We were Harley's Angels.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
so
that was your.
it was all
Okay.
like Easy Rider. You know, they didn't take it the dirty way that I did. Easy Rider, Charlie Davidson, and then Thug. We were the
Thug.
gang.
Okay, that was your gang.
Thug was
your
the big
motorcycle
girl.
gang.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we actually looked like Russian dolls. We got littler as it went. Like Thug was big, and then Charlie was like medium, and then I was like the loudmouth on the end. That was
Wow,
much.
that must have been. How long did you do that?
We only lasted 2 seasons.
It was
but,
the Glow wrestling.
No,
No, the
Glow was like in the early 90s.
the Wow.
Yeah.
Wow
Wow
wrestling.
was
Yeah.
in like 2001.
Okay.
I think Glow might have even been in the late 80s. I don't know. But it was a long time ago.
So it was the Women of Wrestling.
yeah. So this was Wow, Women of Wrestling.
Now, did you-
WOW.
Now, did you have to really work and learn all the different moves and all the
Oh
different?
my God, yeah. The training was so intense. Like they actually trained us to be professional stunt women. Like you had to learn how to fall off everything.
Wow.
Some of the girls were jumping off like ladders and falling. I remember Erica Porter. Her name was Jungle Girl, naturally.
Hey, Jungle Girl.
And she was an amazing athlete, and she would like jump off a ladder and roll and attack.
They've got to be great athletes, don't they? I always think that about wrestlers. They're
they put you through the ringer.
Yeah.
I mean, you really have to learn, because you could fall and break your back. So you have to learn to fall and
take those falls and roll with it. Yeah,
take the bumps. They're called
that's awesome.
bumps.
So what is harder, wrestling or stand-up comedy?
God, you need bumps to do stand-up comedy too.
I got
sometimes.
injured by some pyro during stand-up. Yeah.
Get bumped by a bigger comic, you know.
You get bumped a lot in stand-up.
It's
pretty
insane.
You're working with the great Andrew Dice Clay a lot, and you're out on the road with Dice, and I know that's got to be fun. Do you have a crazy experience? One thing I remember is when we worked with him in Vegas at the Luxor, you and I. And,
wow. But I wasn't doing stand-up back then. No.
You weren't on the show?
Nope.
You weren't on that show?
No, I was only sleeping with him.
Oh, well.
Sorry. No, because he was my ex-fiance.
Oh, that's right.
We were together for a while. So
that's right.
I've only been doing stand-up a little over 8 years.
You know, you're an amazing stand-up comic.
Thank
You
you.
really are amazing. And how quickly you got good. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you.
But now you work with him a lot.
Well, but I think the reason I got good quickly is because I did start late, obviously, and later in life. But the thing is like I was doing stand-up 3 months at this point, and Dice came to see me because we were friends, and he was seeing this really nice young lady, and he was like, "Hey, we want to come see your show." I said, "Fine, great," because we broke up. It was, amicable.
You're still friends?
We're very close,
Yeah.
and I'm very close with his kids. So we weren't like, I hate you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, good.
We stayed really close.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Let me come see what you're working on," because I didn't call it stand up. I was calling it a one-woman show.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
Was tell stories about my family and all the nonsense.
You have a crazy family.
Right.
Yeah.
So he came to see me, but at the time we were still doing that show on VH1. Dice Undisputed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that show.
So we had a reality show on VH1, and we had been broken up for a while, and we had to film the breakup scene. We had to film.
Oh, of course, for the TV,
which is fine, but we were already broken up, so
Yeah.
it was like whatever. And then so he came to see me do stand up or my one woman show in the Belly Room at the Comedy Store.
Right.
And he was like, "You're doing stand-up. That's stand-up." He's like, "Why don't you come on the road with me?" So I did.
Yeah.
3 months in
Wow.
to a Dice show.
To a Dice show with the wildest crowd there is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On the West Coast, we did San Fran. We did these like the Wells Fargo Center in Santa Rosa, California, and then
Big venues.
giant.
Yeah.
2,500 people.
Yeah.
Why am I
And
there?
you've done it
Why
3 times.
am I
Yeah.
there? Right. So all I had to do was 8 minutes of material, and I was sweating, and it went great in California. Both venues. The other one, I forgot the name of it. I want to say Reading, but because I just came back from Philly, I think it's. But no, it's
But another
Reading
big
out
venue.
here. There's
Yeah,
Reading, California too.
Yeah.
And it was in Reading, and it was like, it looked like it wasn't a venue the day before, but this day they made a tent, and it was 1,000 seats, and it went like a slide. Like it went straight up like that. And I go out, and I'm all cocky, because I did real well the night before.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I was all cocky, and I talked into the microphone. Nothing came out. I was like, what? It was dead.
Wow.
They had a problem with the sound
Oh,
system.
no.
So I'm like, people are yelling out like, bah, bah. It's a Dice crowd, so it's not clean. And it's horrible obscenities and horrendous. And I'm throwing things back, but nobody can hear me because there's no mic.
Oh,
and
no.
And Dice is like, get off the stage. And I'm like, oh, I figured I'd just fight these people.
Yeah, nothing
Verbally.
scares you. You're from Philly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was like, the nerve of me to stand out there like, yeah, I'm here, guys.
Well,
let's
that's
do
probably
this.
why you're really good at this. You are a nervy person.
This is true.
Yeah.
And then we go to the East Coast. By the time we got to New York, because that thing after they fixed the sound. It
Right.
took like an hour. as soon as they fixed it, he was like, if you want to go out there, fine. If you don't, I understand.
Right.
They are going to attack you.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they did.
Did they?
And I
Yeah.
fought them back, and
Of course
I
you
won them over.
Did you?
And
Wow.
but they were drunk.
Yeah.
But by the time Dice went on, they threw a drink at them.
What?
I mean, it was the rowdiest crowd. A lady threw her purse. I don't know. It was crazy.
Wow.
So that when we got to New York, the show on VH1 was canceled.
Oh,
And that was Andrew's big thing. He kept saying, "Oh, when you go out, they're gonna love you because they're gonna know you from
from the show, yeah.
They don't know me from the show.
Oh.
They didn't care. In New York, they were like, "We don't know who she is, and why is she wearing short shorts? Who does she think she?" Like I had cute little. They were like dress pants, but they were short, you know,
Right.
and then high boots, and I thought I looked so cute. And this little top that required me to wear a half bra, so that was weird. But I was like, I thought I looked sexy, and I was being all cool. And we were at the Westbury Music Fair.
It's a big venue.
So
yeah.
that's 2,000 seats, I believe, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I forget. It's in the round. So it's like everybody surrounding you.
Oh, yeah.
So they put 2 veteran comics out first. First, you
Right.
believe this?
Yeah.
A fight breaks out during one of them. They have to clear the whole front row, rearrange that. So he comes off sweating. Another guy goes out. Somebody starts harassing him, heckling him, throwing things at him. He comes off all pissed off. So then they take a 15-minute break, and then they go, now we're going to send you out.
Uh-oh.
No, they're going to eat me. You understand? They're not, this isn't like the West Coast where they're polite.
No, this is a New York
This
crowd.
is New York.
Yeah.
They will probably chop me in half, you know, like, so I'm like, oh my God. And Andrew's like, don't worry, they're going to love you from the show. I'm like, they don't know who I am. On the West Coast, they did. They were like, Eleanor. On the East Coast, no.
No.
I went out and I said, I'm from Philly. And they were like, boo, the Phillies stink. The Eagles stink. You know, they start beating up your sports
Oh,
teams.
yeah, they hate Eagle
And I'm
fans.
like, dude, I'm not playing sport. So I had a couple like witty, you know, retorts that I threw back at them. But it was awful. And I was like sweating, my hair, I remember it sticking, getting closer to my face. And my bra, my cute little outfit that I had on, I was sweating so bad. The bra slid down.
What? Wow.
And it was here. So now it looks like I have stomach tumors, you know, and I'm sweating to death. And I'm like, thinking I'm like, they're going to kill me. And then I started to get angry because the South Philly in me came out like, all right, what is happening? And I remember locking eyes with my sister who drove 2.5 hours to Long Island, New York to see her little sister perform in front of all these people. And they wouldn't let me even do my jokes because they were yelling so much. And I remember I locked eyes with her, and she looked at me like, what do you want to do?
What are you going to do?
Fight this whole room? Let's do it. And we look exactly the same, you know, except she's 10 years older.
Your sister's ready to throw
She's
down.
like pulling her sleeves up. Like, where do you want me to start? In this section
Putting
here?
her hair in a ponytail.
She
Yeah.
put Vaseline on her face. We were in it.
You were ready to go.
So, and I looked like, yeah, should we start?
Let's do
fighting?
this, yeah.
And then I did about 5.5 minutes. And I wrapped up. I got a couple good zingers in.
Yeah.
Tried to get some material out. Did mostly crowd work because there was nothing you could do. They wanted nothing but Dice.
Yeah.
And I got off, and Andrew was like, I'm not going out there. How dare they disrespect you? They can't do that. And I'm like, Andrew, they don't want me. They want Dice. I'm nobody to them, you know? They want the big
But it was
guy.
training under fire, right? I think that's the cool thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like getting punched in the face repeatedly.
And that toughened you up, and now you do it all the time.
And then the next
Those
night...
crowds don't even phase you.
No, not anymore. And the next night it happened again at the State Theater in
Did it?
Jersey.
Same
And
thing?
Yep. And I was like, you know what? Well, I didn't have the half bra on, so that didn't happen. But I had more family members because it was Jersey. It was a little
You
closer
needed backup.
to Philly.
Yeah, you had backup.
And then my brothers were like, I wanted to hear the rest of that story, and those guys were rude. And I'm like, all right, we can't fight everybody in here,
Yeah.
so let's just
But your
relax.
brothers would probably try.
Oh, definitely.
Your brothers are tough
Oh, yeah,
guys.
and my sister.
Yeah, your
And my
sisters.
sisters are pretty...
So they were ready. Yeah.
They came. They did push-ups before the
So
show.
how'd that one turn out, though? Did you get through that one all right?
I did about 8 minutes, but they didn't listen, and they were booing and hissing and cursing and yelling, and
But now-
it's like getting raped. Well, I guess I can't really say that, but you know what I mean. It's like you're just go out and get beaten down.
Yeah, you're getting beat up.
And there's nowhere to go except to jump back and get. Like, it made me want to get on stage so much.
Well, the thing is, you've overcome it. That's
And
the
now
thing
it's
that's
never
cool.
happened again,
Yeah,
thank God.
and you're such a great comic now, and you handle crowds like nobody else because you've been through that.
But that's
you
what
know?
I'm saying. It's like being tortured in the beginning, and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Now you're just cool and collected,
If
and
there's
you
a
can
nice
handle
crowd,
any
I don't know
crowd.
what's happening. I feel like I'm being punked. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Is this a joke? Why
Well,
are
that's
you
when I
polite?
see you up there with a quiet crowd. I start cursing from the back, so you'll feel at
Get it
home.
together, lady.
Yeah. Well, I know you've had a great experience working with Dyson. The one story I was going to tell is when he took us to that steakhouse after the show
Oh, yeah.
that a mobster owned. And I thought it was so funny because we go in there, we're all afraid because this guy's a mobster. It was a great steakhouse, though.
Yeah.
And but Dice was just totally rude to the guy, not even talking to him. And this guy loved
I
Dice.
making eye
He was,
contact.
he wouldn't even look
Yeah.
at him. And the guy was kissing Dice's ass. He'd be like, Dice, can I do anything for you? And Dice like, yeah, get out of here. You know. And the more
nice meeting you. I'm like, Andrew, no.
The more Dice blew him off, the more the guy couldn't wait to do something for him. And we're all shaking. We're like,
We're not with him.
yeah,
we don't know
we
him.
that guy. So that was fun. We had fun working with him, and I know you enjoy working with him. And
Yeah, that was a great gig, the Luxor.
it was
Yeah.
a great gig, man. Except my neck was like this for a week. 'Cause
Oh,
they
yeah.
had the thing.
Everything's on us.
And you remember I wrote my joke about if you're losing all your money gambling, you can just slide down the. But the
You can't even jump off. You just slide down.
you try to kill yourself because you lost all your money, but you just slide down. But you know, it was a fun gig, and I know you work with him all the time, and you've gotten to know his kids really well.
Oh, they're amazing.
And we were talking about their band on the first segment with Danish and O'Neal.
Still Rebel.
Still Rebel is the name of the band. They are really good.
So good.
You know, I thought,
good.
you know, I always loved Dyson, and I thought, well, I'm going to do him a favor and put his kids on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, and you told me they're good and everything. And I thought, all right, I'll do it just because it's Dice, you know. But then I heard them. They're phenomenal.
No one ever believes us
They're
until they hear.
phenomenal.
But I get
Yeah.
that because it would be, you know, oh yeah, somebody's just, you know, promoting their kid, or
Yeah.
everybody has a great kid that's real talented.
And that's what I was thinking. You know, until I heard
and
him
it's
play.
90% not true.
Well,
They're the 10%ers.
Exactly. You're like, I remember Wayne Gretzky got me one time when I met him. He tried to get me to play his girlfriend's record.
Oh.
And it was a terrible record. I was like, I can't. It's the great one. I'm a hockey fan. I can't not play it. But then you don't want to play it. So, but yeah, Dice's kids turned out to be the exception.
Thank goodness.
They
Yeah,
are
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great.
Still Rebel. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you, Eleanor
Thank
Kerrigan.
you. I'm excited
Easy
about
Rider.
this.
Well, thank
Easy.
you. Yeah, come
That
on.
was my move.
That was your move?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
a long story.
I
You
like
have to
that.
watch it.
All right.
Google
Good
it.
move, though. There she is, Eleanor Kerrigan. Go see her. She's tremendously funny.
Yes.
She's the coolest,
Thank
too.
you.
And you have a lot more stories we didn't get to, but we'll get to them next time.
Yeah.
On the Frazer Smith Show. Thanks for joining us, Eleanor.
Thank
Easy
you for
Rider.
having me.
And we'll see you guys next time. And be sure and check out my radio show, 95.5 KLOS, Sunday night, 10 till 2. Thanks for joining me here on the Laugh Factory website channel. We're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.